Many NBA players have managed to put together a successful run after a period in which they were absent from the league or had a disappointing previous season. But few, if any, were able to do it in their 15th season while also helping a seemingly rebuilding team exceed expectations. And that's exactly what star point guard Chris Paul did at age 35 with the young Oklahoma City Thunder team that managed to reach the playoffs and force a Game 7 that went to the wire against the much-favored Houston Rockets. Now, as CP3 finished the season in which he reminded everyone that he's still among the elite floor generals in the league, and with fans waiting to see what the next step in his career will be, it's a good moment to reflect on the amazing run that the future Hall of Famer had with the Thunder. Welcome to Courtside. Today, we'll talk about how Paul solidified his status as the best pure point guard in the last few years after a season in which many expected him to start fading away. Paul's tenure with the Thunder started in the summer of 2019 after his previous team, the Houston Rockets, failed to advance past the second round in the playoffs and decided to trade the point guard away for a player that could better complement James Harden. The transaction was completed on July 16th as the Rockets received Russell Westbrook in a move that consisted mainly of an exchange of starting point guards. CP3's final season in Houston was a very productive one as he averaged 15.6 points, 4.6 rebounds, and 8.2 assists per game, and had moments of brilliance as the team's second star. However, Houston believed that his fit with Harden wasn't the best. And as the aging star was owed a huge amount of money in the following years, they thought that they'd be better with a younger, more explosive point guard in Westbrook. Following the trade, there were many rumors about Paul possibly being sent to a team with championship aspirations as the Thunder was in the middle of a rebuild. Many expected the star to demand a trade. However, this never happened as he didn't ask to be traded and instead embraced the opportunity to guide a young team and play in the city that saw him begin his NBA career in 2005. Still, despite the addition of Paul, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Danilo Gallinari to a roster that already included Steven Adams and Dennis Schroeder, the team was expected to perform badly and were only given a 0.2% chance of making the playoffs by ESPN. But though the Thunder did have a slow start to the season, CP3 wasn't about to let any prediction dictate the way his new team performed. The point guard made his debut with the Thunder on October 23rd with a 22.8 rebound effort that showed that his game was still at its best. As the season progressed, he improved his scoring average over the previous year and slowly helped the team to turn into a regular winner. After starting the season with a 6-11 record, OKC had the second-best record in the league at 24-9 from Thanksgiving to Super Bowl Sunday, only behind the Milwaukee Bucks, and finished with a 40-24 record before the suspension of the season. For his excellent play and leadership in helping making the Thunder an unexpected playoff contender, Paul was selected as a member of the All-Star team for the first time since 2016 and 10th overall. By the time of the season restart, the team was looking to keep its impressive run, and despite going 4-4 in the seeding games, they finished as the 5th seed in the Western Conference and would face the Houston Rockets in the first round of the playoffs. Though the match made an excellent headline, most people expected the Rockets and their former MVP duo to beat the Thunder without too much trouble. After Houston gained a 2-0 lead in the series without Westbrook as he was healing from injury, things were not looking good for OKC, as many were already counting them out. However, the resilient team was about to prove everyone wrong once again. Behind the play of Paul, Shai, and Schroeder, the Thunder rallied to win 3 of the next 4 games and tied the series at 3. In Game 6, Paul led the way as he finished with 28 points and a couple of clutch plays to force the deciding Game 7. The final match was as close as it could have been and finished with a game-saving block from Harden as the Rockets held on to a 104-102 lead to win the series. But despite the loss, CP3 had an excellent game and became the oldest player to ever record a triple-double in a Game 7, surpassing his good friend LeBron James. The point guard averaged 21.3 points, 7.4 rebounds, and 5.3 assists per game as his team almost made it past the first round for the first time since 2016. And while he felt unsatisfied with the loss, Paul culminated a comeback season in which he not only posted excellent numbers, but also helped an overlooked Thunder team to exceed all expectations and take a championship contender to a Game 7 that was decided in the final play. His leadership was in full display once again as he helped his teammates improve throughout the season as Schroeder finished as the runner-up for the 6th Man of the Year award, and young players like Shai and Lou Dort took a step forward in their development. Now, after recently sending an emotional message to the organization and its fans in which he expressed his gratitude to them for the spectacular run, the point guard is looking to the future, unsure of what the next chapter in his career will be. For the moment, it's probable that the Players Association president will be busy helping the league spread its message in favor of social change and preparing to negotiate proposals to carry out the eventual following season. However, despite helping the Thunder have one of its most exciting seasons in recent years, there is a chance that he won't be returning to the team in the upcoming season. OKC's current roster is a talented one and, if given time, could probably continue to improve as its young players continue to develop. However, it's also a very expensive one, as well as one that is probably not good enough to contend for a championship. As we mentioned earlier, Paul is owed a large amount of money in the following 2 seasons, and Gallinari is about to become a free agent and demand a good contract. If management decided to keep both players, they would be unable to acquire any other star in free agency and could be stuck with a good team that's just not good enough to win a title, much like it has been since the departure of Kevin Durant. Also, Paul's resurgence has garnered interest from teams that are a piece away from turning into potential contenders, and he could be one of the most important names in the upcoming offseason. At the moment, it has been reported that teams like the Bucks, Lakers, and Sixers are interested in acquiring the veteran to help get them over the hump or secure their place as title favorites. In the case of the Lakers, the New York Knicks have also been mentioned among the teams with interest in the point guard. The team's new president of basketball operations, Leon Rose, used to be Paul's agent, and it has been rumored that he could be interested in bringing him and Carmelo Anthony to the Knicks. In any case, if CP3 is traded, the team that acquires him will need to make some financial gymnastics to absorb his contract and probably have to send a draft pick or two to the Thunder to convince them to make the deal. As Oklahoma City has many future draft selections and a couple of excellent young players, they might be currently thinking whether it would be better for them to go into a rebuild or not. If they ended up deciding to trade Paul away, it could become the first step towards what would become their first full rebuild as a franchise. However, at the time, there's no confirmation that any of these moves will end up taking place, and the Thunder could very well decide that they like how things are going and bring back the roster together for another season or two. But regardless of what the team decides to do in the following months, there's one thing that we can be sure about. No matter where Chris Paul plays or in which situation he might find himself, he's going to perform at a high level whenever he steps on a basketball court. And if the current season taught us anything, it's that despite him no longer being an MVP caliber player, he remains as the league's best pure point guard and as one of its biggest stars and leaders. And he still has a few more years of greatness remaining in the NBA. Altogether, Paul was not so long ago considered as an injury-prone player whose better days had already gone by, and that was tied to a horrendous contract. However, after a season in which he shattered expectations placed on him and his team, he proved his value to the world once again. His leadership and overall impact to the game remain as good as they've ever been, and the fact that he's able to continue producing at such a high level during his 15th season is an impressive feat that goes on to show how committed he is to the game, even if the situation around him is not the best. But now, what are your thoughts about CP3's future? Will he be part of a contender in the following season? Let us know in the comments. We hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you did, remember to like it and subscribe to our channel for more NBA content. We are Courtside.